Hey friends, welcome to the Korenna Aster We Are the Answer Alchemy community. So good to have you. And I am here to share that it has been some really rough energies, and I think it's fair enough to say that we've all been feeling it. If it wasn't last week, it's definitely this week. So I'm coming to you on today on May 12th, and I'm going to make this a shorter video. I want to come in with a longer video, but I really just want to talk about the energies that we are currently experiencing, that we have been for the last few days, and just why it's been so hard, and just be here to also give you some words of inspiration and hope, and sharing what has been working for me because I have also been really having some tough anxiety. Has been what's been coming up for me the last couple of days. And so anyway, I just want to let you all know that I think we're all in it. We're kind of in the thick of it. And so be really gentle with yourself and know that you aren't alone. Um, First and foremost, reach out and ask for help. I ended up reaching out to a lot of people today just to ask how they were doing, but I reached out to well, one friend really specifically, um, and her and I talked, and that helped me hugely. And so, we need to talk to our people, whether that's a parent or a child or a friend, an elder, somebody in the community that you can go to. So we really need to reach out for help. And I just grabbed a little stone. I believe this is petrified wood, actually. Of course, been tumbled. So, but yeah, the petrified wood is super grounding. I'm not the biggest stone person. I know a few, but so is turquoise, super grounding. So those would be some good ones to use right now. And actually, I had, I guess, some intuition right before I got on here, and I was doing some points on myself. So there's two different ways you could do it. You can hold them like this. So it's on the side, or you could even just use your thumbs and go like this. So it's literally right on and the side of the body. And it's kind of women where the bra strap would be. So men, if you can kind of think about like where the nipple line is, and then it will be tender most likely. So especially if you've been having some emotions. So yeah, for some reason, just a little while ago, I was feeling some just, yeah, need to do these points. And I was like, oh, I really needed to release that. So these are really good for helping release emotions. So just taking a moment here. If you're driving, obviously you'll have to do this little part later, but if you aren't in the middle of doing something else, then you can safely do this point. Just take a few deep breaths here and just pressing as hard as you can. Again, either with fingers, or you can do your middle finger or pointer finger. I like to use my middle finger when I'm giving myself the hug sideways one, so you can see where to get that. So anyway, very powerful spleen, 21 point. So yeah, do that when you can, release some emotion. There's also the one right here in the middle of the chest. It's really helpful at releasing emotions. So again, this would be right on the sternum, on the midline, here in the middle. Actually, so it would be for men, it's right at your nipple line. And so for women, if we're still little girls, then again, finding that point, and just you can just push as hard as you'd like. Again, it may be super tender, and rubbing here. I did not expect to be giving you a little acupressure lesson, but this is what's coming up, so I'm going with it because, yeah, more people need to know these things anyway. So yeah, it's just taking a deep breath, and then we'll move on and talk more about the astrology. But yeah, this is really powerful at releasing again the emotions that we hold in our chest, just any stress that we've been holding in the body. So, and you can come back to this anytime you want. So, I hope that helps you. And yeah, so we are in the month of May, of course, on May 12th. Now, remember, as a Chinese astrologer, I always like to remind everybody that the month doesn't start until around the 5th or 6th. So on the 6th of May, we got the new Yin Water Snake energy of May coming in. And so the Yin Water Snake and the young fire horse. Now, fire and water definitely do have a clash. The yin water and the yang fire, not so much, it's not a direct clash, but water does put fire out. So there is still some of that energy. The snake and the horse get along okay. They are not enemies. I would not say that they're definitely not best friends though either. Their temperaments can be quite different. Yeah, from what I know and from what I've experienced, I think they're a little bit of a rough energy together, but of course, some snake and horses can get along quite well. I've had definitely some friends that are snakes throughout my life, and it depends on a lot of other variables in the chart. So we have, different interactions with different energies. So overall, I would say that there's often some competing values with the snake and the horse that make it a little bit more of a friction energy. So it's not the easiest energy, but it's not terrible either. This isn't a negative energy per se. It just could feel a little crunchy at times. So that's my take on that. But and then so we began on May 6th, as I said, on a young metal dragon day. So what's really beautiful about this, and I got to share this, I was actually at a retreat the weekend of the full moon. So we had the beautiful full flower moon on May 1st. That was Beltane, and Friday the 1st. It was just kind of a really beautiful weekend. I felt like the energy was pretty amazing. I was at a retreat with a lot of other people. There was definitely some tricky energy that we were dealing with. I'm not going to go into all that now, but um, so we've been dealing with some different sticky points that we're getting triggered through different things to work through and heal through things, as we always are when those triggers come up, right? But what I wanted to share is that, yeah, I got to share at this retreat the beautiful energies of the Eastern astrology that I'm sharing here, um, for just the beginning of the month energy. And so it was a real special treat to be at the Wild Sovereign Camp Out experience here in Boise, Idaho. I believe we will be doing this retreat, or that retreat will be happening again. I got to be a co-facilitator there. It was really amazing. I feel so blessed to have been a part of it. I got to teach my Shakti breath yoga on Sunday morning, and Saturday we I taught a moxa and acupressure class. So that was really wonderful. So really well received, and just the whole community was really amazing. It's through the Cosmic Pulse community, so the drumming community here in Boise. If you haven't already and you are local, then check them out. If you aren't, come and visit sometime. And we'd love to have you come to the retreat in May if we do that. I'm assuming it's happening next year. I don't know. Anyway, so yes, so on May 6th, we had the Young Metal Dragon Day. And so the dragon energy brought in this really big vision of, okay, back to like, we just had, the spring not too long ago, energy of, beginning of May, April Fools is really more of our beginning of the year, the new year, the spring. And so we just came out of that dragon month, and so now we begin on a dragon day in a snake month. Now the dragon and the snake get along quite well. They can be pretty compatible partners, really. And this is a young metal dragon day, so it's really wanting to see something out that is going to bring about justice and bring about truth. And uh, there is that. There are some good qualities of this young metal dragon feeding the yin water energy of the month. Although there is the fire within the snake, and so there's a little bit of this transformational energy happening from the snake and with this dragon. So yeah, there's a combination of some different things where we're going to be feeling, I think, a little bit of friction this month, but overall, definitely, I mean, and so far it's, again, there's been some good challenges, but I think we are overall going to have like a little bit more ease in certain ways. Now, I'm going to talk about the sidereal energy here in a moment because fast forwarding now, because I don't want to go through all the energies of last week. We're over all of that. However, I just want to talk about the last few days. I am here on the 12th. And so yesterday on May 11th, we had Mars go into Aries. And so right away, we've been feeling some really fiery energy, a lot of, yeah, again, this is not only that Mars is going into Aries, but we in the five element system, we are in spring. That's the element of wood. So there is this energy, we call it the yang energy, is rising within people. So in the spring, sometimes people get more headaches, more anxiety, more anger. So that's that yang energy rising to the head. Again, I was struggling with this yesterday and today, and I'm a practitioner. I know all the things to do. I'm doing my best to try to eat right and all the great things. I'm going to share some more tips with you on what I did today to work through everything. But we're all human and we're all going to go through it. And depending on what transits you have, it could be a little bit tricky. So yeah, I just want to share with you so you kind of know why things are stickier and or challenging. With the energies just right now, it is a little tougher. So um, now before the day before on May 10th, that was our Sunday, Mother's Day. I hope everybody had a wonderful Mother's Day, whether you're a mom, whether you are somebody that got to celebrate moms, or even if you didn't get a chance to be a mom, I hope that you know that if you are nurturing the community, that is motherly energy. And so thank you for that. And I saw something that reminded me of that for myself today. So that was really beautiful to be like, okay, yeah, that's right. Like I deserve to be celebrated in a sense too, even though being a mom is an extremely challenging job that I can't fully understand not being a mom. And my hats go off to all the amazing moms out there. So, including my sweet mom and my sweet bonus mom and my grandma, if they're watching, thank you all. I love you. And today the moon is in Pisces, and whew, I am really, really emotional. I reached out to a lot of people today to check in on people, and everybody. There was definitely some people that have been doing great, but there was quite a few people that said that they have been going through it, and it's been very emotional for people today. Um, and then, so yeah, I want to back up to just to Mother's Day, because on that day we had the last degree of Mars in Pisces. Now, Mars does not like to be in Pisces. It's its detriment. That is the worst placement for Mars to be. It's in a water sign. Mars is a fire, action oriented. So it was, having to be very dampened down. And when it gets to that last degree of water at 29 degrees, we call that Gandanta. And so that can be a very volatile energy. It's very frustrating energy. So unfortunately, we were dealing with that. It was causing a lot of painful energy. There's also some other aspects in the chart that I can talk about. Again, I don't need to go back too far, but I do want to share with you today's energy, and I might go back to tomorrow's as well. So I'm going to bring up my chart, and okay. And so, yeah, again, I just want to thank you all for being here. If any of this is resonating for you, if something that I say in here helps you, please share this video. I would greatly appreciate your support. I love creating videos to help people out. I want to help more people with Chinese astrology, with sidereal astrology. I do Chinese astrology readings. So give me a like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know below what has been coming up for you. And yeah, so as for today, like I said, the moon is in Pisces, and so that is um definitely emotional energy. And then, we've got all this energy in Aries. So we definitely have the stellium and energy of in Aries. I really like the energy of the sun and Mercury in Aries, because this is helping us to think fast. We're on our feet, but again, that thinking fast can also go to where I went into a little bit of catastrophizing. So if that is something that you do too, if you're an overthinker, if you're a ruminator, You may have also gone into a little bit of that rumination that could cause and stir up that anxiety right now, because again, all this fire energy, and we have this Mars and Chiron conjunct here. And so that is also a really um, can bring up some wounding around, yeah. This could be around groups of people too. So everything here is in the 11th house. This is about our community. So there are some things that are coming up about woundings, about friendships or community. And yeah, and we are thinking about community. We're talking about it because Mercury is in this sign too. And, you know, some of us have been really working on creating more community. And like I said, I feel that the retreat that I was at with the Cosmic Pulse community, this Wild Sovereign community, um, I feel that that is this is my tribe. I have tribe in other areas that don't always go to that group, and sometimes they do, and so I have people that are outside of that as well. But yeah, so it's kind of fascinating how these things all work together, right? But yeah, so then some of this energy that we're also experiencing that's been really hard is this Jupiter square to Mars. So yes, Mars in the first degree of Aries is helping us to finally have some energy to go forward, to move forward in our endeavors. So, thank you. Mars is in Aries finally and out of Pisces. This is a beautiful energy, but with the square to Jupiter, it can also just amplify that energy of Mars, which can be very aggressive. It can be angry. It can be a little too fiery. It can be a little too much. And today is a young fire dog day. And so, with that young fire dog, again, also a young fire dog can be a little bossy, it can be a little pushy. I accidentally was, I'm trying to invite people into my book club, and I realized I was like, oh my gosh, I think I was coming off pushy, and that was not my intention at all. So, um, that I just get excited about things and passionate. And so, but we can come off that way because again, the young fire horse energy and then the young fire dog. That's a lot of fire today because there's that yin fire within the snake. So we've got a lot of fire energy. Okay. Um, and then that yin water, it can't really fully put out the fire because it's not the yang water. So we're not having that extreme of being able to have that yang water, like we had the yang water dragon last month putting out that fire, which then also created the lower temperatures. So we were really experiencing a very cold April. It was one of the coldest Aprils, actually. Surprisingly, we were, I think, all quite surprised. But then looking at the astrology, I was like, no, this makes perfect sense. And then today it was very hot here in Boise. This is where I'm at locally. It was 93 degrees today, which is extremely hot for early May. And we're definitely having way lower temperatures after today again. So we're all, I think, grateful for that. I personally am. Can't actually speak for everybody else, but a few people I know also agreed. Anyways, a little too hot, I think, for this early in the year. So, yeah, it was just a lot of fire, and so a lot of that fire energy again, can rise to the head. We can be angry. We can be cruel. People, I've heard of a couple different people having a recent breakup just in the last couple days. So again, that Gandanta energy for Mother's Day, and then the energy yesterday's again, which is that Aries energy going into Mars. It's helping us to go forward, but Mars can be too aggressive. It can be over the top. And today we could have also been too much too for some people, that young fire dog energy. So, and then tomorrow let's see if there's anything else I wanted to say. Um, I think that's good for now. So I'm going to move ahead to tomorrow's energy because we do get some reprieve tomorrow. So thank goodness. Now the moon will still be in Pisces, so we may still be feeling emotional, but and we still have the Mars and Chiron conjunct. It's starting to move away a little bit. Um, so yeah, there's still going to be a little bit of possibly challenging energy, but the day is a yin fire pig energy, and so um, there is a little bit. Well, now that I'm saying this, I'm recognizing that it's not exactly as I'd hoped. Okay, so um yeah, I mean it's not as fiery as a young fire day, I guess, but the pig and snake are having some clash energy, so it's definitely going to feel a little bit of tension. However, this is a day that we can fix problems, and um what's really beautiful is that um sorry, I wanted to say a couple different things at the same time, but today, or so this will be for Wednesday, the pig day, is definitely a more jovial energy. It wants to be more relaxed. It wants to be more playful. It's definitely going to be also again a day where we're going to be just looking at like, okay, well, how can I fix something and solve this? And so the energy is going to start to go down a little bit. uh, Again, we're still going to have a lot of fast thinking, a lot of fast speaking. So just trying to be a little bit careful that we're not aggressive with our words with that Mars square Jupiter continuing to amplify that fiery energy. So I want to just really quickly talk about a few things. Now, of course, I talk about it all the time. Get out and do your earthing. I did that today. It made a huge difference. And then eating like foods that are very high in minerals. So I was eating some seaweed snacks, the sea salted seaweed paper snacks. It's like the thin paper sheets. It's not paper, it's seaweed, but yeah, those have a lot of minerals in them. I also made a little avocado mousse. I think I have that on my recipe web on page on my website. I will put a link below if I do, but avocado mousse has dates and banana and a little bit of cacao with avocado, and that's all I stir up, and then some sea salt. And so, really, it's the dates that bring out again more, or bring you more of the minerals along with a little sea salt. And that's just a really healthy snack. But yeah, so that really was helpful at remineralizing my body. I was using my electrolytes. And then, yeah, so hydrating really well, getting out, doing the earthing. I wrote in my notebook for a while, so I recommend that. Again, I do sometimes talk about it being journaling, but you can have a notebook where you just write, your bad stuff days. So that way you can just burn it or throw it out. You don't have to save it. There's definitely some old journals of mine that I basically don't want to have to read again because it's pretty painful. So that might be something to think about. I mean, I think it's good to also be honest and reflect on where we're at in our life so that we can learn from our mistakes and grow. But however, again, it can be very painful to reread a painful part of our life, and or for somebody else to find our journal and have to read the terrible things that we've been saying about ourselves or going through ourselves, right? So anyway, so I guess I'll just say that I apologize in advance that people have to read that. Um, but yeah, and then that's always weird when you say something like that. Anyway, hopefully I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't have any plan to. I remember I am on the 200-year plan. So yeah, minerals in your food, do the acupressure points I talked about at the beginning of this video, do your earthing. I saw it and I finally was able to feel my feelings. It took me until a little bit later in the day to really get out a good long cry. But that was really a good thing. And then asking for help, right? And not only asking friends and family for help, but also asking your guides. And that's something I forget sometimes too, but we really need to reach out for support when we're going through these hard times. So be sure to do that. The next following day is, I'll just talk about this day, and then I'm going to come back in and talk more about the weekend and the new moon. But yeah, so for the 14th, we have a young Earth rat day. The rat is a clash to the horse energy. So there is some changeability energy. It also could feel a little bit of friction. I'm going to share my screen again so we can see the sidereal chart as well. So on the 14th, we then, let's see, we still have the moon in Pisces. I'm thinking maybe later in the day the moon might travel into Taurus though. Um, So that'll be interesting to see. I can take a look at that in here in a minute. Yeah, so we're going to continue to have some of the same energies that I've been talking about. So again, really working on thinking before we speak, taking that deep breath, trying not to be reactive. Um, yeah, and uh the young earth rat is definitely more down to earth. It's going to also be a little bit stubborn and meticulous on what it wants and how it wants things to, but this is a good day to work on again fixing a problem. It could be a good day to ask for a favor, or change something, change a habit that has been happening in your life that you want to change. So again, that could be around communication. Since there's a lot of communication stuff, that could be around the way that you're thinking. So I would definitely recommend something like that. And then we come to the day of the 15th, which will be, and actually, really quickly, I'm going to just see, I'm going to get my local time in here to see if the moon goes into Taurus later in the day. Um, Hang on, I got to go back to the sidereal chart. Later in the day on the 14th. No, it'll still be in Pisces later, so maybe at the end of the day. Okay, so then the following day on the 15th, oh, excuse me, the moon goes into Aries, silly me. That's what I meant, not Taurus. We've got moon going into Aries. Okay, so however, the sun does go into Taurus. So happy birthday to Tauruses. Um, oh, and then I also want to rewind just a tiny bit because I want to say that on the 13th, so back to Wednesday, Venus goes into Gemini. So I do believe that some of what has been coming up for people is that sometimes we feel the energy before it happens, and when Venus goes into Gemini, Venus, well, I mean, Venus is definitely better in Taurus. It's been in Taurus for the last month. It is a beautiful placement. Taurus is ruled by Venus, and so this is a very comfortable place. Love is good. People are getting along better. That doesn't mean, of course, we've had some of these other issues that are presenting that are making it not so easy to get along, right? And sometimes, again, we feel this other change happening. So Venus and Gemini, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and so there is a little bit of, it's almost like a clash energy. So there is a little bit of us being a little bit more in the head rather than in the heart. Venus is wanting us to be in the heart. Venus and Gemini is a lot about friendship. It wants to be very communicative. Communication is great, but it also can just be more interested in friendship. So anyway, that can be just interesting to see how that plays out. But uh but what was really tricky about on May 12th is that we had a, I'm going to go back to May 12th. So give me just a moment here because we actually had a square with Venus and the moon. So sorry that I meant to say that earlier. So that was another reason that a lot of people have been having some breakups and some difficulty in love and relationships, and maybe just not feeling loved in general. Like, just not feeling, that could be by your community, by your colleagues, by your clients, by something like that. And I definitely was feeling some grief today, and um, yeah, and so there is some of that with the square energy. Okay. So just know that it is going to pass. You will get through it. And so on May 13th, ta-da, we are past that square. So that was what I was wanting to share. When I lost my train of thought earlier, was that the moon is no longer square to Venus. So we don't have to worry about that anymore for May 13th. So that's why it does get easier. So we get to take a little bit of a break or a breath in that arena and enjoy this last day of Venus and Taurus. So then again, like I said, May 14th, May 13th, the last day of Venus and Taurus. Now on May 14th, Venus moves into Gemini. And it will, oh, I don't know. I don't have it written down how long it will be here, but But yeah, so let's see. And then we do have, yeah, we do definitely have some different things going on that I'm going to come back and talk about more, but I really just want to say that we are approaching the new moon, the dark moon energy. So on the 15th will be the dark moon, the day before the new moon. On the 16th, May 16th, we do have the new moon at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. So it is not a great day to start a new project or to really get things out in the world. On the 15th, you really want to wait until after the new moon has happened. So after 2 p.m. on the 16th or the 17th would be even better, sometime after that. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. And if you didn't know that, that's just something to know for going forward. If you're doing something with business, always plan for either the day of the new moon, after the time of the actual new moon on the day, and or, after probably like a day after, so it would be even better. Which brings me to another thing that I want to share really quickly is that I also lead parasite cleanses, and I do that at least two, usually three times a year. I do a spring, I do a fall, and then often I do a January cleanse to kind of help us after the holidays reset. I love doing these clean cleanses these three times a year, and so I invite a group to do it with me, and it's a really positive way of staying accountable to being on no sugar. And we get to eat all the fruit that we want and cleanse out some parasites. So this is also another really great thing to do when you are dealing with a lot of emotional stuff. And then again, because we have Mars in Aries, we do have the energy and drive now to accomplish goals. So this is a great time to start a new workout, start this parasite cleanse with me, or something else that's a healthy habit that you have been putting off. I'm really working to get back to the gym to lift weights. That is one of my goals. So, um, yeah, I really want to stop talking about it. But when Mars was in Pisces, it was really hard to get motivated. So, um, you know, there's all these different reasons, right? And I'm not trying to make excuses, but it's fascinating how energy works. And yeah, so definitely, if you want to learn more, I'm going to drop a link below. But we all definitely have parasites. We all need to cleanse. It is a huge problem of all kinds of different symptoms, whether you have bloat, headaches, anxiety. I'm thinking some of my anxiety could be from an overgrowth of parasites currently. I have cats that eat a lot of wild animals. And so my cats, I think, just unfortunately give me some parasites as well as, just life, just living. They do eat the parasites, eat the toxins within us. And so we need parasites. They aren't going anywhere. Like there are good parasites, but um, I'll just tell you really quick. Sorry that you may not want to hear this, but they poop in us. And so we have to get rid of them and do these cleanses to eliminate some of them and remove their excrement. So I teach you how to do that safely and easily so people aren't having a lot of pain. You're not having a bunch of herx die-off reactions when you do this with me. It's super easy to stay accountable in my private group. So again, check out the link below. I would love to see you there and support you. And anyway, again, thank you. Like this video, please share it with somebody. I know a lot of people are going through a hard time. Be really gentle with yourself. I really hope that you can remember all the tools. Get out and do your earthing. Smile. Sometimes we do have to just fake it till we make it too. I mean, there is always that. Also, breath yoga. I teach that Friday mornings at 7 a.m., Tuesday mornings at 7 a.m. Come take a class. It builds emotional resilience. I was so glad I did it this morning. I'm like, if I hadn't done that, what would I have been like? I was already emotional this afternoon, and how would I have been if I hadn't, done that? So anyway, again, links below for all my offerings. Again, I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you so much and have a beautiful evening, day. I'm going to be back real soon to finish talking or talk more really about the new moon energy in just a few days. So, um, all right, it's 9/11. Enjoy, and we'll be in touch soon. And bye.